Before Dr. Farley came to Washburn University, I would say it was a well-kept secret. It was in need of an infusion of energy.
I was a very traditional on-campus student, but the majority of our students came from off-campus.
It started, turning towards more of a commuter university.
For me, the campus was largely a place to go for classes, and then I had to get on to work. It didn't have the campus feel that it came to have later on.
But those of us that lived on campus had wonderful experiences and frankly have made lifelong friendships.
But most people didn't know all the great things that we did. It wasn't known widely, and we were in need of someone who could give us direction and a real vision for what we could do in the future with the people that we had.
From the moment Dr. Farley came before the committee and us individually, it was obvious that this man had not only the background for a job like the presidency of this university, but he had the vision for how he was going to bring this university back to a leading four-year institution.
My first impressions of him were that he was so energetic, so likable. People would want to be around him. He was magnetic.
It was a relatively easy decision for the selection committee because he just was, it was so obvious that he was the right person at the right time to assume the presidency of Washburn.
Good evening. Topping our news at 10 at 10, Washburn University taps a new president.
A unanimous vote by the Washburn Board of Regents has given Dr. Jerry Farley the job. The Oklahoman says he's ready to call the capital city home.
Thank you so much for inviting Susan and me to join your family.
President Farley was extremely friendly and very energetic. He was very approachable and always on the move from the get-go.
He was very energetic. He pretty much lives and breathes Washburn, and he's very engaging, and I think he's been great for this school.
He came with a very clear idea of how he would navigate and get to where he thought that we needed to be at Washburn.
He already has some goals for the school. First, he wants to raise the school's visibility in the community. He says he wants to take a closer look at the business needs and speak on how the school can help those. And he'd also like to recruit more traditional college-age students.
He saw right away the vision and the possibilities that existed for the future.
He was a remarkable leader, a wonderful person to learn from.
He didn't miss a step.
I just remember being struck with how much I really enjoyed meeting them and getting to know Dr. Farley and Susan.
He treated everyone with respect and with dignity and with genuine personal interest. And I think that personability was a very evident feature of his initial and continued presence on campus.
It was very obvious from the beginning that, in my opinion, we had chosen the right person to lead this university, and he was, raring to go.
Dr. Farley's biggest achievement as president, as far as I'm concerned, is revitalizing the campus.
When Dr. Farley arrived, we were predominantly more non-traditional than we were a traditional age population, and student activities were far more limited than they are today.
I don't think we were going to be much more than we were, get any bigger than we were, without recognizing that students wanted to live on campus. Even local students wanted to live on campus.
The idea of bringing, dorms, upscale dorms back to the university to encourage on-campus living and on-campus participation. That was a major step in starting to transition the university.
For Washburn to really grow, we knew that we had to create a campus environment that would attract students to want to live on our campus and to be a part of a more traditional student experience.
He instigated and encouraged and implemented various programs to give a home to traditional students who had not been so much apart. And so our growth in traditional students restored that feeling of a college, as people tend to think of a college.
I believe that Washburn becoming more of a residential campus added to the vibrancy of the university. It was full of energy, full of excitement, a lot of things going on at Washburn.
The campus today looks totally different from when I went to school here, and it's much more inviting. That was definitely the right direction to get more kids on campus. It's more of a college experience.
The inclination that Dr. Farley had to make the campus much more residential was absolutely essential.
The day ground was broken for the Living Learning Center, and the day of the ribbon cutting are wonderful, warm memories. And that was the beginning of the transformation for Washburn University into the campus that we see today. I've always found and observed Dr. Farley being a very good listener.
It was easy to see he was a great leader.
You could come to him with an idea, and he would very carefully listen to it, and then ask a few questions and make a few suggestions, and you would leave with a much better idea that still somehow felt like your idea.
He could walk into the room and everybody know who he was. But he'd walk in and it wasn't, I'm walking in because I'm important, I'm the president. I'm walking in because I care. My name's Dr. Jerry Farley, I am the president. Tell me what's going on. I want to know why this is important to you.
I know just from being with Jerry on campus, all the students know who he is. They all say hi to him. That's important, because when I was on campus, I mean, I knew who the president was, but I don't know that I saw him involved much.
One of the characteristics that Dr. Farley demonstrated to me was how to listen to what other people are saying, how to be sure that you're out somewhere where you can hear what people are saying, even if they don't have the same points of view that you do.
He was inclusive by listening to people in the community and people on campus to build a clear road and vision.
We didn't always agree. People didn't always agree on what the right outcome was, and he loved that even more because he got to hear lots of different ideas.
He does not want yes people around. He wants to be given honest answers, even if the answer is not what he hoped to hear.
So very frequently he had just gatherings in various places where people were just invited to come and ask him questions and to say what was on their mind.
Good leaders, in my view, they recognize however brilliant they might be, they cannot solve all the problems, do everything alone. So they assemble capable people around them and consult with them regularly. Another thing is the positive attitude, even during the most difficult times. And those of us who know President Farley for 20 years, 25 years, know he has plenty of both. And I think those things, along with other attributes, make him a great leader.
He allowed us to see a vision, bring a vision to the table, our staff to get involved, and at the same time ask the right questions. Was this the right thing to do for our part of the state? And could we pull it off, and what would it take to make that happen?
And he makes tough decisions every day. Transforming the university, as we've talked about, involved numerous tough decisions that required him to engage and get help from a lot of people that took time.
When Dr. Farley said, I am going to make this happen, and I have a team that's going to work with me to make this happen, People believed him, and we delivered. And it was very exciting to be a part of Dr. Farley's leadership and vision.
Perhaps the big life lesson is that Dr. Farley isn't intimidated by a challenge. You can decide whether you're going to be positive or you're going to be negative. And I've never known him not to find, or at least try to find, the positive. Washburn's motto is non nobis solum, which means not for ourselves alone. And Jerry and Susan Farley live that.
From the moment Jerry and Susan hit campus, it was Jerry and Susan together.
Jerry and Susan were truly remarkable in their capacity to embrace the community.
They loved this university. They totally devoted themselves to the university.
25 years of their lives to this university.
Think about that.
Every way.
President Farley and Susan never missed the opportunity to interact with our students to show their support.
And they're everywhere.
Excellent.
Whenever there's a Washburn event,
Yeah.
Jerry and Susan Farley are there.
You can count on seeing plenty of the new president on campus and off.
The best way that we can get our message across to the public is for the president to be a very visible leader.
I love higher education and enjoy participating in all kinds of university events, so I hope to do a lot of that.
One of the remarkable things about Jerry and Susan is their ability to develop so many deep, lasting friendships with people from all walks of the community.
And Susan embraced her role as First Lady of our campus, and she embraced our alumni and our students in the same ways that Jerry did.
Every time I've been to dinner with them or out and about, everybody knows who he is, and he goes over and says hi to him. He's a very friendly guy.
When you saw Dr. Farley, you saw Washburn.
Jerry, to me, is just like the human embodiment of Mr. Ichabod. He's Mr. Ichabod to me.
His bow tie. I think that'll be a trademark of his.
Not every university has a president like Jerry Farley.
I will never forget, nor will many people who saw them, all of the videos he did for the faculty staff campaign.
He was just willing to do whatever would help increase the energy, help us be more successful, even if it meant being goofy or maybe not being in the traditional prim and proper role.
At the Copacabana, the hottest spot in North Havana.
And because of who he is and because it was genuine, it made a difference for us.
I feel so fortunate to call Jerry and Susan friends.
We lost a son in 1997 to cancer, and I had never met Dr. Farley. I had exchanged one email with him, and he came to our son's funeral. That, to me, was an extremely moving situation. When he cared enough to come and to be a part of my sadness and my family's sadness. Dr. Farley is definitely and Susan, a part of my life.
Jerry and Susan together built relationships that are meaningful and that will last and continue to make a difference.
Community relations were very important to Dr. Farley.
When Dr. Farley first joined Washburn, we were a sleeper. I don't know how else to explain it. The community as a whole didn't really know all the great things about Washburn.
Dr. Farley has made Washburn part of the community. When you think of Topeka, you think of Washburn. When you think of Washburn, you think of Topeka.
He wanted everybody to understand that Washburn was pouring out into the community, was an investment in the community. It was not taking resources from the community, it was developing resources for the community.
Many times, a university president sits in isolation on the campus, and the city or state they're in, they really don't have much involvement in. But again, he realized here, because we're a municipal university, it was in the best interest of Washburn for him to be part of all of those things.
So he worked very hard to build relationships with government at every level, in the city, in the county, in the state. He worked very hard to build relationships with the commercial sector of the city as well, so they could appreciate what graduates of Washburn were bringing to the community and to their workplaces.
He has a passion. It's a genuine passion for economic development. He understands how education supports a community and how it helps it grow.
We began representing Washburn about 20 years ago, and over that period of time, the role has increased.
We were talking for as long as anyone can remember about becoming a state school. Jerry decided that that wasn't the right question.
He says the school is so strong, he's not sure the next generation of students needs to be a part of the Kansas Board of Regents.
I think Washburn as a freestanding institution has had such tremendous tradition in the past that there would have to be a lot of discussion, a lot of thought given before you would abandon that tradition.
The right question was, what do we want from the state? What are we looking to accomplish? We need funds. We don't necessarily need state control, so let's just look at this differently and approach it differently.
We were very dependent on an annual budget grant from the state for operating funds, which is fine, but as the state has good and bad years, and as politics enters into it, it wasn't as stable.
Through the legislative process, the idea was created by then Mayor Joan Wagnon, Dr. Farley, as well as a member of the Kansas Senate, that we ought to begin examining alternatives to the property tax to provide relief from that tax. The result of it was, after thorough study and consideration, that a countywide retailer sales tax would be an appropriate way to properly fund the university. The taxpayers embraced that, they liked it, it's worked very, very well and provided stable funding for the university to continue its very important mission. Dr. Farley brought excellent leadership and sound financial management to Washburn University.
I want to talk about one of the most exciting things that has happened at Washburn University. I can't imagine it not having happened now, is our affiliation with Washburn Tech.
When the concept was brought to the table about blending, merging, bringing together Kaw Area Technical School and Washburn University, that was a trendsetter. There was no place else in the state, and I don't know anywhere else in the nation, that we had taken on that task together.
At the time, there were a lot of people who couldn't see the vision. They couldn't see how Washburn Tech could be a part of Washburn, and both of them would be better. And Dr. Farley saw it from the very beginning. And when that opportunity came to life, he was ready to make it happen.
He understood the importance, I would say, especially the economic impact that Washburn Tech could have on the community.
It was exciting to be a part of that. We were creating something that could make the difference for generations of students to come and create the workforce that we hadn't envisioned at that time. Dr. Farley recognizes that who you hire to be leaders often makes the biggest difference, and Washburn Tech was no different. When he hired Clark Coco, the game changed. Clark had the same vision for tech that Dr. Farley did.
You know, we all know the economic power, but the power behind changing maybe generations and generations of families that they never thought they would get the opportunity to attend college.
We were able to have conversations with students that were in high school, all the way to adults, about how they could have a technical education and have the opportunity to do whatever they want with that. We have educational pathways that lead to careers that make a difference in our community and in our region and in our state, and you can do whatever you want.
The student could move all the way through the system without leaving the Washburn family.
We wanted Washburn Tech students to feel like they were Ichabods.
You are part of the Ichabod family, and that in itself is generational changing.
Probably one of the greatest things I think we've done where we took our education to the community was working with our economic development organization, working with our chamber, working with the people of Topeka to open up Washburn Tech East. To be able to make something happen like that is transformational for a community was exciting and thrilling, and not possible except for Dr. Farley's vision and the way that people trusted him.
I truly believe we had a gem sitting in Kansas, in Topeka, what it could develop into.
We were a leader, really a leader in the state for what it looked like when you were able to combine a technical school with a traditional four-year campus, and how you made that look seamless.
Everything from the landscaping to the classrooms to the tools to the painting on the wall to the marketing materials to the foundation helping us get grants. It's a great marriage, and there aren't many like it.
I can't imagine not having Washburn Tech associated with Washburn University.
And that came back through the vision of Dr. Farley and others, of course, to develop that opportunity.
Here at Washburn, we have an institutional commitment to international education. We believe a strong international student presence broadens our classroom, delights our dorms, enrich our campus, and diversifies our community. And President Farley recognized all of that all along.
During Dr. Farley's leadership, we expanded our international programs significantly.
He was very ambitious about what he wanted to do internationally, and at the same time very aware of the challenges and volatile nature of international relations. So we travel frequently and work patiently with our partners overseas. We would always ask to meet with potential students and answer their questions. And he is super good about that. He would treat every potential recruit as a 5-star recruit. My favorite and biggest milestone was the 2015 academic year, when we have 305 international students from 38 different countries studying here, and 204 local students studying abroad in several dozen countries. Those were record numbers in Washburn's history.
So many of our Washburn students hadn't ever left Kansas, had never left the United States, and to create opportunities for them to study abroad and to actually be living and experiencing the places and the sights and the scenes and the people that they're learning about has been a tremendous change.
He often told international students, by being here, they provide opportunities for local students and the residents to learn about different peoples, different cultures.
And it was his vision and his support of that that made that possible. And if you talk to students or alumni, you will hear over and over how their study abroad experience was transformational in their life, helped them see the world in a completely different way and from a completely different perspective that affected them forever.
I hope President Farley will be remembered to be be the most supportive president for international education in Washburn's history. I also hope, along with Susan, he will be remembered as the most friendly and caring president to international students.
There are a lot of milestones to Dr. Farley's tenure.
There's so many. How much time do we have, really?
I do have some favorites that I thoroughly enjoyed. I did love the renovation to Morgan Hall because it made a front door for our campus.
Well, one thing that always stands out to me is how he's transformed the look of this campus.
He would say, if it looks nice on the outside, people will believe that we know what we're doing on the inside.
He has transformed Washburn both physically and academically by drawing upon its strengths that have always been a part of Washburn, but amplified them and made them accessible to more people.
He was able to see the vision for the broad spectrum of programs that we had and understand that we had to have quality in all of the programs. Everything had to be outstanding.
I was particularly excited about the renovations to the science building. Those were much needed.
KBI was going through the process of trying to determine what comes next with their lab, and Dr. Farley was aware of that conversation, and from the beginning he could see a partnership that could exist.
We put additional focus on academic competitions like debate, like mock trial, presenting papers and so on at conferences.
I was called over to his office at 10:30 on a Friday morning. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what have I done? And it was about Marinella cosmetology program closing on a Friday. And bless his heart, he says, we're going to buy it on Monday. And I said, no, wait. I like the idea, but we can't buy it on Monday, Dr. Farley. You know, we've got some things to jump through with the Board of Regents to get it approved. And he goes, no, Clark, we can buy it on Monday. And I said, sir, you're the president. We can buy anything you want.
He always joked, being from Oklahoma, he understood the relationship between athletics and the university. But I think he was being honest.
We started with scholarships, and we started with making sure we had the best coaches and making sure they had the resources that they needed to create the opportunity that would attract the best students, student athletes to Washburn.
He still to this day is virtually at every athletic event. He still stands at the stadium for football games and high fives the players as they come in.
He did see right from the beginning how investing in athletics and making sure that we had outstanding teams that attracted great students was part of what would create that traditional student experience on campus.
I was really proud of what became known as the Washburn Transformational Experience. We recognized that there were things that students did that changed their lives.
Being a part of the law school project from the beginning has been transformational in so many ways. To be able to build a building that's fitting to the high quality education that they provide, and to be able to create that type of a learning environment for students of today is just so exciting.
When the students move in the fall, and I still remember, a picture in the newspaper with Jerry there carrying boxes helping some student move into the dorm.
Our Leadership Institute, we create real leaders there. And that is something he has a passion for.
Dr. Farley's appreciation for diversity. He sees the advantages of having a diverse student body, a diverse faculty, and Dr. Farley has been excellent as far as providing support for the goals and the aims that accompany equal opportunity.
When we did the 150th anniversary campaign, it helped people to see the difference that giving made. We'll never look back on fundraising at Washburn. And that is a legacy that Dr. Farley has left, that we will be able to see the returns of that for years and years and years to come.
Everything all ties in together and just speaks to the fact that Washburn is a world-class institution.
Yes.
In every detail.
When he sees something that needs to be done and he commits to it, he gets it done.
It's like a mosaic. He's putting together a beautiful mosaic, and this piece and this piece and this piece, and then at the end of it you get done and you got this gorgeous picture.
Those little things are just, again, the genius of the man. It's just been a total and complete successful transformation of this university into, I think, the leading liberal arts four-year college in the Midwest, perhaps further.
Jerry and Susan will be remembered as a couple that worked every day for 25 years to make Washburn, Topeka, Shawnee County, and Kansas a better place for all of us to live and work.
He'll be remembered as the person that did so many, many, many positive things to put us in the position now that we are today to excel even further.
We've overused this word, but transformative.
And I'll say this, I bet that there are plenty of students all over the country who couldn't tell you who their college president was when they were a student. But I am sure that every generation of Washburn students that rolled through the university in these 25 years will remember that Jerry Farley was president of their university.
He has engendered a positive feeling among alumni, friends of the university, individuals who have seen the results of his leadership, and they have been generous in their support.
I think you want him to be remembered for what he's done for this university. I mean, we talked early on what it was like here, 40, 50 years ago, and versus what it is today, and that 25 years that he's spent changing, bettering, improving, transforming the university. And that, arguably, the most impressive president we've had in our 160 years.
He helped us see a bigger vision, and then he brought us all along and helped us do the work to make it come to life. And now Washburn is forever changed in such a positive way.